Hey YouTube, this is my first video and it is of our new Coleman Power Steel Vista 2 18-foot above ground pool. I just finished it up today, finished the landscaping, and let's go take a look. I started out first by renting a sod cutter, and I cut out a 22-foot circle which left an extra 2 feet on the sides for just a little landscaping and so forth. I added some mulch, rubber mulch that some others suggested, and that way there's no sticks or anything that might poke into the liner, whereas you buy some bark and other things, it might have some sticks or something in there, so I didn't want that to happen. Before I put the pool down, I spent a lot of time getting the ground level. Once I took the sod out, it was about an inch at the most out of level in spots, so I didn't have to do too much. I added a little sand here and there, and there's some good videos on how to level the ground using a board and going in a circle pattern around, and it worked out really well. But definitely spend the time to get it level. Also, when you level the ground and if you have to move dirt, I rented a sod roller which you fill with water, and once you get the dirt moved around, you definitely want to make sure the dirt is packed down. Don't just level the ground out without packing it down, and keep packing it, because the pool will settle and there's a lot of weight, and it will find spots to push down that will make your pool unlevel unless your dirt is completely packed down to start with. So spend the extra time, make sure your ground is level before you do anything. The next thing I did is I bought a tarp. The pool does not come with a tarp, and I spent more money on it than I expected, but I bought a 16 mil tarp, which is the thickest. It's a 20 by 20. It's the thickest I could find, and that's to prevent any kind of sticks or rocks or gophers or who knows what may come up from the bottom and poke the bottom of the pool. That would not be good. So definitely want to put a tarp in there before you start assembly. Once you start assembly, the biggest thing that I ran into was, as you're starting to fill the pool, the legs need to stay perfectly vertical side to side also. So I spent a whole day as the pool was filling monitoring the legs, making sure they were level. I had a level kind of side to side and so forth, and I had to constantly move them as the pool would fill. It would push on them. So it's definitely some maintenance to make sure that they're vertical. As the pool starts to get more water, the legs get harder to move. It's pushing a lot of weight down on that. So you do not want to just start filling the pool and walk away and not maintain level on those legs. It's critical that you keep those legs perfectly straight vertically. I added these pavers for the legs to be on. If you were to leave the legs with nothing underneath them, there's a good chance they're going to push into the ground as the pool starts to settle, and you do not want that. There's a lot of weight on those legs, and if there is not something underneath them to brace them, you're going to have a problem, and you do not want to have to try to lift or do anything trying to adjust one of those legs once it's filled with water. It's pretty much impossible. As we come around here, I added this Intex Skimmer. The pool does not come with a skimmer. I added the skimmer. It works pretty good. The mount that it comes with is not made for this pool. It's made for a more kind of a circle mount type of rail, whereas the rail that's on this pool is more of an oval, and it doesn't really mount well. It's kind of difficult to get it to line up right and hold. I have a clamp that I use that's not shown here. It's kind of ugly, but it holds it down better, and because if somebody were to swim by or touch it, it'll probably knock the swimmer or the skimmer loose a little bit, and I wish it came with a different mount. It's really not made for this pool, but I'll come up with something to brace it. But it works good. It's cheap. The next thing here is the filter system. The filter system that comes with the pool, everything that I researched said that the pump and the filter that it comes with, which is just a cartridge filter, is really no good. It's underpowered for this pool. I ended up adding a Intex 16-inch sand filter saltwater system, and it was really easy to hook up. I'm happy with it. It runs really smooth, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it holds up. As far as the hoses go, these are the regular inlet hoses that came with the pool. They're the 1¼ inch hoses. I added some hose clamps. The clamps that come with it are just these plastic clamps. They don't hold, they're not tight enough. They constantly were leaking, so I just put some hose clamps on there. Also, I lifted up the hoses off the ground with some zip ties. With the weight of the hoses, I didn't like that it was bending the hose connections down, and I think just holding them up and keeping them nice and level to themselves is a better idea. It just puts less stress on those connections. I had an extra umbrella laying around. I'll come up with something as far as to hide the pool equipment, or at least a cover of some sort. But for now, it keeps the sun off a bit, and maybe some rain or who knows what. But you definitely want to keep your pump and everything covered. It's just not good for it to have the sun beating on it all day. You'll wear it out for sure. Next, as we come around to the ladder area, I saw this flag holder at the store and figured that would work pretty good for a towel rack. So I got that, and there's really nowhere to put your towel other than putting it on the ladder, and then you're getting it all wet and so forth, getting out of the pool. I also added this little ladder bath that you fill with water, and you just put your feet in that before you get into the pool, and that keeps you from getting dirt and sand and bringing it into the pool and having to vacuum and just more maintenance. So it was cheap, and you can find those online. Also, this is the regular ladder that came with the pool. It's not the most sturdy thing. Depending on how this works out, I may upgrade the ladder to something nicer, but it's okay. The only thing I don't like is there's no way to brace the ladder, and when you get up on it, if you don't go up perfectly straight, it gets a little tippy, especially for an adult. For kids, probably not so much, but if a kid is kind of playing on it and jumping on it, it's a little tippy, so you got to be careful with it. I may get something that's a little sturdier, and maybe in the future. So we'll just see how this goes. But it's strong enough. It's just a little unstable for my taste. As we come around here, one thing about this pool that others were saying is that the portholes could leak. It sounded like that was a problem on maybe the older version of this pool. Hopefully it's fixed on the newer one. We'll find out, I'm sure, soon enough, but hopefully no issues there. The kids love it. They think it's a pretty neat feature. I have not seen that feature on another pool, so it's pretty neat when people are swimming around and the kids come up to the windows and peeking through and making funny faces and stuff. So I think they're really neat. I hope they hold up. They seem pretty strong, so hopefully no problems with that. And here's kind of a look at the pool itself overall. It turned out really level for the most part. I think maybe in some spots I may be a 1/4 inch off here and there. I mean, that could just be just a few inconsistencies in the dirt and some settling of my dirt, but overall it turned out really good. I don't think there's going to be any safety issues with it not being level. So that was the big thing, was making sure that the ground was level, that the water isn't shifting and putting a lot of weight on one side of the pool, because that could be disastrous. But other than that, that's it for this video. I will put in the description the expenses that I have into it. It was not, I spent more money on the prep and some of the other things than the pool itself. So it was not what I think overly expensive to get this going, and it turned out really well. I hope it lasts us for a long time, and good luck to those that are also putting their pool up. Bye for now.